still add to this line.
There's lots of different ways to divide up how your team wants to attack this. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's simply going to be that when the jury walks in, I'm going to say, okay, the remove team, convince the jury that the words should be removed. Now, one way to attack this, again, just a suggestion, is to attack it these three ways. To say, all right, listen, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, one way to argue that the words should be removed is that the pledge, the words under God, fail this test. And as a result, it's unconstitutional. Does the pledge serves no non-religious purpose? You're going to try and argue that it is religious. Yeah. And you're going to argue, no, it's not. Or you want the answer to this to be yes, and you want the answer to this one to be no. You're going to say it is unconstitutional because it does endorse religion, because it suggests one religion is favorable to another religion. Your team is arguing yep, and your team is arguing no. Or something called the coercion test. This team wants to convince the jury that students are forced to say those words. This team is going to try and convince the jury, no, they're not. So this team is trying to argue that it is a religious ceremony, that it favors one religion over another, and that students are forced to do it. There are your three arguments. This team is going to try and convince the jury it is not a religious ceremony. It does not favor one religion over another, and no students are forced to do anything. That's what you're going to try and convince them. Okay, that's one way to approach it. But there are other ideas, very easy ideas. If you went to procon.org, as I suggested you should. So this is another strategy. This might be something that you think about. Here's like a super easy thing you could do. Go to procon.org, drag down to the correct topic, which is under God and the Pledge. Click on it. If you drag down, there are all these arguments that you could make. Right? And it's just full of stuff. How about this one? Here's something easy. Do you have 10 people in your team? Just say, all right, look, you take the first. Pro means, what does pro mean? Let's just make sure that should the words under God be in the Pledge of Allegiance? So the yes, you guys are pro. As far as this one's concerned, right? You want the words to be left alone, right? So this is the pro team. So all you have to do is say, all right, you take the first quote. You take the second one. You take the third one. You take the fourth. There's 10 of them. So all you'd have to do is show a great quote and say, all right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, here's what I think it means. So there's another approach you could do. If you don't understand the previous this, if you don't quite get this, you don't have to do it. This is just another easy strategy.
Sorry for the interruption. Keely Sampson to the office, please. Keely Sampson to the office.
Okay, so that's something you could do. My requirement, though, is that it is visual, that you are creating a slideshow, and it's on Google Classroom. And it's one slideshow. Don't have 10 different slideshows. Have one slideshow, but assign, let each person make one of the slides. So maybe leader, whoever you are, leader of each group, create a slideshow with the number of slides that equals the number of people in your group. And then you step 2 would be like, all right, just number, give each person a number, 1 through 10. And if you're a 1, the next thing you need to do is know, are you a pro or a con? As far as procon.org. This is pro, that's con. So if you're 1 con, here's your great quote. Copy it, paste it. That's an easy thing to do, okay? While you're doing that, while you guys are working on this, I'm calling you up to my desk one by one. Those of you who have not presented your 4-slide slideshow, you're not presenting it to the group. You're simply presenting it to me. Okay? Just bring your computer with you and sit down and show me your little slideshow, full credit. Okay? And then I'll quietly just give you pointers about, hey, maybe next time you might think about this or think about that. Okay. Anyone want me to revisit this one? When the Supreme Court, because this case reached the Supreme Court said, all right, look, we have 3 questions. If the answers to these 3 questions is yes, 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 if any one of these is yes, if any one of them is yes, we're removing the words. So that would be what you guys are trying to convince the jury to reach the answer yes to these. Let's see. You want the jury to say it's a religious ceremony. It favors one religion over others, and kids are forced to do it. If that's true, the words are gone. So I invite you to also have at least one person in your group attack this slide as far as a slide, pretty slideshow. I'd invite one of you to get the jury to come to the conclusion it is not a religious ceremony. The pledge is not a religious ceremony. Call it something else. Say it's like a parade. A parade isn't a religious ceremony. Neither is the pledge. That it doesn't favor one religion over another, and that nobody's forced to do it. Okay, so do you have any questions? I don't want to take up too much of your time. Okay, I think as you get going, this will make more and more sense as you go. Okay, I'll go sit at my desk. I'll invite kids. I'll call you up one by one, and then you'll just present. Otherwise, the whole hour is yours to work on this. Okay. All right. Good.